Baby got what let's see, I was and
Mr. Senegal for TV.
oh,
Ain't that Trayvon?
Who?
Ain't that Trayvon?
Is this the one that's here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try back. Let's try back.
y'all don't stop this shit on me, man.
Okay.
Cause I'm crazy.
Yeah, read that count.
Already.
What are you talking about? Go ahead. I want you to go guard in your mouth and then come out. You hear me? Type of cow. Don't guard in your throat.
Yeah, y'all need to go in there and stop touching it.
Don't go guard in your mouth.
Can you come with this stuff?
Yeah, cow. No, you take it fun.
I don't know what you think, but I'm not funny or stupid. Yeah. I'm not telling, man. You gotta get it on, man. Yeah, you
Usually on policy issues like this, we say, what would it take to make us look at this issue differently? What would it take to shock us out of the pattern that we're in? What would it take to swing the pendulum back?
How many figures am I holding up?
I ain't trying to be funny with the guy, but you better try to listen to me. I'm not there, fool.
How many ears you got?
Happens in the country in terms of gun violence or feel about it. There was no outcry loud enough. There was no shock.
Hey, who's that? Who's that? See? Who that?
Get out of here, man.
Who is it?
What did I say to you, Kyle?
Who is it?
And do not. Shit.
It's
That's
Trayvon?
not mine to me, shit. He can be a God. It don't matter.
Look at the face. You know who that is.
No, I don't.
If she knew who they was talking about.
I don't get into that.
Everyone in America should be able to understand why it is absolutely imperative that we investigate every aspect of this. I think all of us have to do some soul searching to figure out how does something like this happen. And that means that we examine the laws and the context for what happened, as well as the specifics of the incident. But my main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. And, I think they are right to expect that all of us, as Americans, are going to take this with the seriousness it deserves, and that we're going to get to the bottom of exactly what happened.
Joining us now is Bob Herbert, former New York Times columnist. He's now a distinguished fellow at DEMOS. Bob, thank you for being here. The president talking about treating this case as seriously as it deserves to be treated. Is he talking about an assurance that the victim being a young black man in this instance will not excuse the need for a prosecution in this killing? Is that what he's getting at?
I think what he's saying is that no matter what happens in Florida, and you can't, in these instances, we know that we can never be sure what will happen, whether justice will be done. That his administration is prepared to step in and see that justice is done in this case, and I think that's incredibly important. And when the president talked about, when he said that if he had a son, he would look like Trayvon, that comes in the context of a statement in which he said he thought that every parent in America could understand the depth of this tremendous tragedy. So people on the other side who are trying to make political hay out of this need to stop.
The comment that I saw today was criticizing president for making this.
Fucked up.
Speaking on
They got
the Sean
people
Hannity
fucked
radio
up.
program this afternoon, he said, what the president said
know what
in a
it
sense
means?
is disgraceful.
Nah, they
Is the
fucked up.
president
They
suggesting
shot, no, they ain't
it had
fucked
been
up.
White who had been shot
They
at
tell you right here.
trying to turn it
They
into
tell
a
you right here, man, who got the most money? That's where it's going.
Crazy, but I think the programs have been so far beyond the bill for so long now, we
Huh?
shouldn't be surprised at any of.
Yeah, they got the who's making the money, man. Who gonna give us the most money? Who got the money?
Conservative side,
So that's where we are.
to have this not be a
That's
race-based
it.
killing, that there's not a racial element there, and I
Ain't
just
that a
think that's
bit?
crazy, it's pretty obvious that it is.
But that's
I mean,
what it is.
we
That's where
had
the
on
black
on
holes is.
9/11 tapes, this fellow Zimmerman saying, he has his hand in his
Who got the
waistband
money?
and he's a black male. I mean, that is what sets off the suspicion right there.
Who
The fact that
spending the money? Who got the dope?
I think that, there's a danger that we're all over the map here, and
Yeah.
we can miss the essential points of.
And that's what they saying right there.
And I think there are two essential points. One is what you were talking about at the top of the program, this insane
Yeah, who got the
violence that
most,
we
yeah.
have in this country. The country is saturated with violence and is saturated with guns, which is handguns in particular. And that's just crazy. So that's one point. We had, since September 11th, where we lost 3,000 people in this terrible terror tragedy. But since then, there have been over 100,000 victims of homicide in this country, over 100,000, and the majority of them were killed by guns. So that's one.
That's
thing.
the bottom line, man.
The other thing, and
Who
we
got the most money and the most dope?
is the racial violence that continues in this country. There is a tremendous amount of it. If you look at the New York
Play
Times
the
today,
game,
you
man.
have our Martin story right beside it on the jump page. There's a story about these teenagers entering a plea in Mississippi where they had run over, they had come to jail, they had been coming to Jackson, Mississippi, looking for black people to attack. That's sort of what they did. And there was this fellow, 47 or 48 years old, and they stopped him in a motel parking lot, and one of the kids just ran over him and deliberately killed him with a pickup truck. So these are huge problems that we really need to focus on and try not to get sidetracked by all the nonsense.
The question for me too is whether or not, how we will engage on the racial issue of this, and whether or not this can lead to a productive discussion about guns. So far, it shows no signs of it, but I think that this is continuing. I think this story will continue to grip the country for a long
I
time.
think that it can, and I think the protests are a very hopeful sign. So I would hope that there would be some follow-up on this. We'll see.
Bob Herbert, distinguished fellow at the Demos Center for Policy and Advocacy. Bob, thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
Good to
Rachel.
see you.
Good to see you.
Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell cannot understand why he is increasingly known as the transnational ultrasound. He cannot believe it. Why does everybody call him that? A journey into the mind of Governor Ultrasound.
Is it possible to reduce the level of contraceptive just one use? Think again. With a language industry regulation, it's possible to reduce the level of just 10 use. Are you seeing it? Experience for yourself.
What's on the agenda? Yep.
At 7, you'll arrive at my toll booth with no change. No rent.
At the lunch box near the bottom of my truck going to retire. You got one?
Check on the day. 100% pure Florida orange juice. A lot can happen in 200,000 miles.
You guys okay?
Hey, buddy, you know what? People don't understand that we done they don't want to believe that we learned this stuff 12, 15, 20 years ago.
Experience love that lasts.
You know that, buddy?
St. Louis,
They don't understand we learned this shit 15 years or so. But I know you got to talk to you, man. We learned this stuff 15, 20, 30 years ago.
nah, that's 50 years ago.
You know what I'm saying, man? We did. Man, I don't know how we did, but we
I
did.
know, cause mama taught it to me.
We did. We learned that stuff.
my beer go?
2 years
Yes,
premium
thank you,
services for one simple
Huh?
Yeah, we matter of fact, it's not
sophisticated
good.
and pay absolutely nothing.
Huh?
to
The beer, I don't know what you did with it.
Consider it a new lease on luxury.
We might get rich, but
Straight ahead,
What?
we've got a special Rachel Maddow show report
Yeah, we
on how
might
one
get
small
rich.
group of regular people are taking on some really large,
You hear
powerful
me?
institutions,
Yeah.
and
Might
I think they've
get
got a really good
rich.
shot at winning. This has not been covered anywhere else. It's
Come on,
exclusive to
something
us,
new.
and it's next.
You cannot use an innocent man.
yeah, man.
My hands are tied. Well, then untie them.
Yeah, but we gotta make a name for it.
Huh?
Gotta make a name for it.
What do you
When your child has a fever, you should know that just
You,
one
sir,
dose
are
of
you
children's Advil gives up to 8 hours of fever relief, allowing
Yes,
your
please.
mind to get back to building.